We here at the Sports History Network proudly partner with 26 podcasts, all revolving around the history of sports. But did you know that many of our hosts were sports history authors way before they started their shows? It's true. We've got Joe Ziemba, host of When Football Was Football, Joe Zagurski, host of Pro Football in the 1970s, Mark Morthier, host of Yesterday's Sports, Tommy Phillips, host of Lombardi Memories, and Scott Adamson, co-host of From the 55-Yard Line. All these authors have many books for you to choose from. To check them out, go to our website at sportshistorynetwork.com/sportshistorybooks. Pick up your copy today. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.
A few years ago, I had the opportunity to travel to Scotland for a mission trip. I always wanted to go to Scotland. That's where the McFarlin or Macfarlane clan comes from. That's where Nessie lives. I did go to the Loch Ness, but didn't see anything. And in my opinion, that's where the best accent is found. Along with these things, I got to talk to some great people. I got to learn about a whole different world and see people live lives differently than I do here in Tennessee. Overall, it was an experience that I will never forget. But there are some similarities between people in Scotland and us in America. Coke is big there. Pizza exists. And the NFL is very well known. People in Scotland know who the Packers, Cowboys, and the Raiders are. There are people who own Lions and Patriots jerseys. It is not a surprise to see the Dolphins and Jaguar hats there. The NFL has crossed the pond and made its way up to the Highland of Scotland. In today's episode of Football is Family, I talked to a good friend of mine, Graham, about his NFL experiences. You'll hear how he became a fan of the NFL, what he does for the Super Bowl, and you will also hear about the disagreement that Graham and I have over our favorite teams. The episode was recorded after the Titans beat the Bills, his Bills, on a Monday night. I hope you enjoy this episode. A reminder, please subscribe to this show and all the other great shows on the Sports History Network. If you'd like to be on this podcast, reach out to me at Jeremy_McFarlane on Twitter or on the Facebook page for Football is Family.
Okay.
And we'd like to welcome everybody back to the Football is Family podcast. I have a special guest from across the pond. You want to introduce yourself, my friend?
Hi there, my name's Graham. And I'm from Scotland. I thought I'd just give my pal Jeremy here a little bit of a fright there.
Well, see,
sometimes that's how he talks to me all the time. That's what I hear anyway.
Yeah, when you think you have to adjust the sound when I'm talking, now you get to hear Scott talk. So I'm happy that you get to be part of this. I'm excited about this, my friend.
Yeah, I can tell your face is just so excited to look at right now.
I'm beaming.
Sit across the room from you, you know. I mean, you look like that guy that just finished everything on the menu and doesn't have to pay for it. But then they bring a Pepsi out. You see, and then it's kind of like, well, you know.
Well, I saw something yesterday. The guy said
there are other soft drinks.
Well, yeah. I saw a guy yesterday said that he would pay for the meal, and the guy said, okay. So he ordered steak and lobster, and I thought, yeah, that's a little rough.
You wait to the order, and then you offer to pay for it.
See, that's how you do that.
That's right, yeah.
We are, I'm trying my best to convert Graham here to American football, but it's hard.
Yeah, I'm glad you called it American football.
Yeah, I have to call it American football because when you look up football online, it usually takes to the soccer is what we call soccer.
Yeah, why? Why is it called soccer? That doesn't make any sense. What's the etymology there? I don't know. Football, I get. Ball, football. I get it.
I don't know.
You know, then you get American, but I don't get American football either because it's like, I often do kick it. Not very often.
You hope you don't have to kick it much at all unless you're kicking off.
Well, I mean, yeah, okay. You get some teams that'll kick it quite a lot. I mean, I'm guessing the Falcons are doing a bit of kicking these days.
And the Jets.
Jacksonville have probably got the best kickers in football for the last 15 years, I would imagine, so.
Well, this year we can't say the Titans got our kicker's a little hot and cold, but, we'll keep them. But I'm also trying to work on Graham for another reason. Can you tell us what your favorite football team is?
Yeah, it's Rangers, a great football. Oh, you mean American football? Sorry, yeah, because I know you're a Rangers fan as well. So
yes, I am.
If there's any Celtic fans out there, anyway. So Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills. Now, why?
Buffalo Bills. I chose. Well, when I got into football, which is some 35 years ago, give or take, probably a bit more than that actually. My friend was really into it. I couldn't even tell you who he supports. But he said, yeah, you need to pick a team. And I says, okay, right, who am I going to pick? And he said, well, pick Buffalo Bills. I says, oh, right, why them? He says, they've just signed Jim Kelly from Miami. That meant nothing to me. And he said, they're going to have a great team. Jim Kelly's a great quarterback. And the only way is up. I said, what do you mean by that? He says, well, they've just finished 1-15. I said, what does that mean? He says, well, they won a game and lost 15 games. And I thought, yeah, that's my kind of team. So Buffalo Bills. Plus, what a great name, Buffalo Bills. I mean, I get it. It's like it's strange that in America you don't have buffalo, you only have bison. But that's okay. I'm fine with that because I know a few guys called Bill, so that works for me.
And I think maybe not the last time you came to Tennessee, but the time before that, I gifted you a Buffalo Bills hat. And you look good in it. You really did. Oh, he is getting up, and I'm giving you play-by-play, and he is getting it out right now, and he's putting it on. So, yeah, there it is right there. It looks good on you, my friend.
Oh, how about that one? Does that one look good?
That one looks better. It's the Titans hat I gave him, too. That one looks – and we had a little back and forth this past week.
You're going to go there.
Yeah, I have to go there.
Of course you are. Yeah, you have to go there.
I have to go there when Derrick Henry and Ryan. Yeah, I know. I just have to remind you that,
Yeah. I felt actually a wee bit deceived because we went into the game 4-0 last week against your guys, and for some reason I misread the result. Well, not the result, but the standing of Titans, because I've recently checked, and they're 5-0 at the moment.
Right.
I thought they were 0-4 when we went up against them last week, so I was expecting to go 5-0. So I feel like I was lured into a false sense of security there. That hey, this will be an easy game. It's the Titans, but it turns out the Titans are actually a team that is more than their punter. Because last season it was all about the punter, wasn't it?
Yes.
And you nearly made it all the way because you've got like the most awesome punter in the history of American football since like 1920. You've got the guy. So I was a bit disappointed we didn't do better.
Well, let's say this. You're what? How many hours? 5 hours ahead of us?
Six hours. Yeah. Do you want to know what's about to happen?
It's about to be bedtime, huh?
Well, I'm telling you, man. I remember 2:10. I went past it, so I hope it goes better for you.
I'm lucky to stay awake at 7. You have to stay awake.
That's when he's preaching. Sorry, what?
Or you have to stay awake a long time to watch the Super Bowl, right? But you do it.
Yeah, it's like a midnight kickoff for us.
Is that a big deal over in Scotland?
Yeah, it's kind of that way. My friend actually has, I don't know what he calls it. I'm going to call it a season ticket. So he has a season ticket that gives him the right to buy tickets for the games that are played in London.
Oh.
So yeah, there's like 2 or 3 games that are played, or maybe more now, I don't know. But so he has a right to get those tickets, and it could be anybody. I mean, he's a Cowboys fan. I mean, what can you say? But he's a Cowboys fan, and his daughter is a football team fan. You know, they used to have another name, but now they're just called football team.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly.
And so they go down there, and they'll make a big thing of it, and they'll head down. Usually about this time of year, they'll go down maybe a couple of Sundays at different times, and they'll see, I think last year it might have been like Jacksonville versus Cleveland. Sorry. That was money well spent. But they enjoy it. They have an absolute blast. And there's like 80,000 people show up to watch those football games. So it's fairly popular. It's got its own show now here on British television. And they've got like an English guy who clearly has not got a clue what he's talking about. And a couple of American guys who used to play pro ball in the United States. If I told you their names, you'd probably know who they are, but I don't know their names. I'm not going to tell you. And it's becoming a thing. So, and Adam likes to organise a big Super Bowl party if he can. But I don't think they're doing it this year because kind of everything's shut.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed. If you noticed how many people that are in the stands now, I think they're maybe up to 20% capacity in most stadiums.
Yeah. Over here, stadia are just closed except to the fans. So there's no attendance. I think they're trying to get some fans in. But just to illustrate it, Rangers were beating Celtic at the weekend there in a 60,000-seater stadium, and there were no fans. Just none. Just
That's
staff. And yeah. It was. Well, it wasn't because we won 2-0, so yay. That's like 14-0 in American football talk.
Well, yeah, American football.
Shut out.
Now, what type of, when you watch football, do you enjoy any different types of food other than haggis? Please say you don't.
Are you talking about my football or your football?
Our football, American football.
Our football. Right. Well, when it's American football night, it's, I don't know if I've had any of this stuff in America, but it's things like pizza, hot dogs, Doritos, lots of candies, like chocolatey type things. So
they haven't come over.
Coke and they haven't. You don't have that kind. Pizza's great. It's an Italian dish, but they'll get over there eventually.
Everything washes up on the shore from Europe.
Yeah,
eventually.
I would imagine so. I'm sure you guys are getting fed up with turkey.
Yeah, turkey and bison.
Yeah. A bison burger's good for you. It's kind of lean.
We seem to get that here. We have a lot of deer, though. Usually when we hit them on the car and just pick them up and take them home with us. We are in Tennessee now.
That's true.
What is your first memory about the NFL? What you mentioned about what's your first memory?
I think it's a toss-up. I have this vague memory of, I'll tell you, the one I remember clearly is when Chicago won the Super Bowl, which everyone who's at least 50 can remember because it was that long ago. Yet, if you're in your 30s, you probably don't even know that they won a Super Bowl. But Mike Ditka was the manager, the refrigerator, and that's about all I know. I don't even know who they beat, but there's a guy in the church who's a big Chicago Bears fan, and so we like to give him a hard time. But then I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, so I can't really give him a hard time.
It's
so
hard
I remember that one.
Well, it's hard to give people a hard time if their team has won a Super Bowl. It's kind of hard.
I'd probably say, though, my favorite Super Bowl, I can't even tell you the numbers, like 23, 24, something like that, where Joe Montana did a 93-yard drive. You know the one I'm talking about.
I know. He played the Bengals.
Yards.
Yes.
Yeah, with like 3 minutes 24 on the clock. How did I even know that? That's ridiculous.
It was.
But up they came and he won it.
It was a great play, a great drive. And that's the drive where he looked up into the stands and said, "There's John Candy." John
Candy, and everybody just kind of and relaxed. And hey, that's leadership, isn't it?
That is.
I always liked Joe Montana. I always liked him.
Was that? Is he one of your favorite players?
Well, he is. The 49ers thing doesn't do him any favors. But yeah, I really think Joe Montana was a phenomenal quarterback. Never had to deflate the ball or anything like that. He just got on with the game and did his job really well. So yeah, I really admired him. And there were some great characters and some great players back then. Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, what's his name from Denver?
That's John Elway there. Yeah.
John Elway, that's the one. Yeah. The guy with the steel arm or whatever it was called, But yeah. So, but those are things I remember.
Now, he sent me a picture. Graham sent me a picture last year, I believe, of a guy that you saw up in Scotland wearing a Titans uniform or jersey. And do you see a lot of the NFL merchandise over there?
You see it every now and then. I mean, I mentioned Adam. He's a Cowboys fan, and we're doing a lot of stuff on Zoom just now because of the coronavirus, just to give a little historical perspective for the listeners down the years from here. And on his wall, he's got a Cowboys shirt with the year he was born on it and the social club he was in when he went to Lipscomb University. So you'll see things like that. I get a friend who's a Titans fan. His wife is from Sparta, I think, Sparta, Tennessee. So he's a big Titans fan. And he'll always be wearing the kit and stuff like that. So, yeah, you do see it. It's not as common as, like, proper football, things like that. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, you see that a lot more. But, yeah, you do. You see guys wearing jackets and hats and what have you, so which are useful in Scotland because it's cold and wet. So, they have their uses.
Now, I went to Scotland a few years ago in April, and I think it held a couple of days when I was there. So that tells you something. Graham, I'm enjoying this talk, and I tell you what I like most about this is people get a different perspective about the American football from a different. You typically here in America, it is the first top sport in this country, and it's good to see it from another perspective.
Yeah, there's a Scottish football team called the Claymores.
Claymores.
Named after the sword, not the nine thing that soldiers use. So, and they're called the Scottish Claymores. And London used to have, I don't know what's happened to European football, because used to have teams like the Barcelona Dragons or something like that. And Frankfurt had a team, London Monarchs.
Yes, the European Football League, which is where Kurt Warner really did well. No, I hated that it stopped. I think that it was viewed as a developmental league, and it just wasn't making any money.
Yeah, well, probably not, because there's like football over here, like proper football. So,
you just have to put your finger in the side there.
Hey, it's not. Hey, listen, it's all right.
No, it's okay. I'll let you.
It's okay.
Get away with it.
I think when you get I'll tell you, the guy who runs Jacksonville, was it Can or something like that, his name is? And he owns a proper football team down in London, although they're not very proper because it's Fulham. But he owns that team, and he has been trying to figure out a way of moving Jacksonville to London, but still play in the NFL. Although it'll probably have to be called the IFL now because it'll be international football. But I don't think that'll ever happen.
That's a lot of flying.
Yeah, it is, but it shows you how significantly the game has developed in this country. Because London, especially, it's kind of like New York. It's a lot of people there from all over the world, a lot of Americans there. So there's a lot of interest in it. I don't know if Jacksonville would be the team there, but anyway, but he's been trying to figure a way of doing that. So that's the level of interest that there is, but not quite in the same way. It's a very different kind of setup over here when it comes to something like national sport compared to America. So
now, if I were to go over there wearing a Dallas Cowboy hat, people would recognize the star. But if I'm wearing the Titans hat, it would be a little bit different for people to recognize that.
Yeah, it might not be as familiar, but I guess people, if anyone that knows the game, would know what that means. So they'd probably come up, and you might find it's not that much different for likes of the Cowboys or the Patriots and stuff like that. So if you know anything about football, you'll recognise pretty much most of the teams, apart from the Browns. But things like what you're saying, yeah, absolutely. I think even the Titans would be recognised.
We were sitting, Katie, my wife and I were sitting in Titan Stadium, and next to us, there were two people from London, in fact, and they were actually pro-Patriots. I thought that they were playing the Patriots that day, and I thought that was funny to see people from London supporting the colonies like that. It's just amazing how this game has changed and has become worldwide.
Yeah, it's international now, isn't it? And in fact, I seem to remember not that long ago there was a Scotsman in the Super Bowl playing for the Seahawks. He was a kicker, and he came from just down the road from me, about 40 miles down the road, in a place called Greenock, as we call it here. And he was the kicker, field goal guy, I think. I'm pretty sure it was the Seahawks, and he's Scottish. So you're even seeing guys from here that are starting to make it into American football, which is interesting as well. And you're seeing guys, I think, even coming from like the Pacific. You get Samoans and Micro-Polynesians and people like that coming into the game as well. So the appeal is definitely there. I don't know. I think one of the challenges you have with American football is it's just so expensive to start the game, if you know what I mean. You've got to put all that body armor on. You got to wear a fancy helmet, so you don't get a boo-boo, things like that. And you got to wear those silly trousers and then that shirt. So, there's a lot of stuff that just makes it more difficult, which is probably why soccer and baseball in America, anyway, are probably more popular. I'm saying, like soccer elsewhere and baseball in America, because all you need is a couple of things and boom, you're away. Especially soccer, all you need is a ball and then that's it. You don't even need anything else. Whereas American football's a little bit more involved in the uniform and equipment. So that maybe puts a lot of people off because it seems like that would be very expensive.
It can. A lot of the schools have had to cut football, American football, around in this area or limit it. But soccer, baseball, it's not a lot of overhead.
Yeah, and I think that's why soccer is so popular everywhere else. But then when you go back and you look at the start-up of football, American football, it was just mad. They all just wore like pilot leather helmets and that was it, and they just ran about bumping into each other. And I dare say there were more than a few injuries back in the 20s when the games took a route, didn't it?
We actually owe a lot to Teddy Roosevelt because this country is looking to ban football. And he said, no, it's actually a manly sport and we need to keep it.
There you go. So back then, it was a manly sport, and they didn't wear all the armor and the helmets and stuff. So let's not go there. Let's just move on.
I see. I just got a message on my phone telling me to rewatch the 94-yard run that Derrick Henry had last Sunday, and that's a manly man right there. 6'3", 250 pound that can run a 4.40. I'm not touching that.
He's 250 pounds.
He's 250 pounds. Wow.
That's pretty fast. That's up. Yeah. Okay, that's impressive. I'll give you that. If that guy were in the room, I would be saying lots of nice things about American football and American football.
Sitting right across from you, you'd be saying, I'll tell you this. I walked into a Logan's up in Nashville, and Albert Hainsworth walked in. Albert Hainsworth played defensive tackle for the Redskins and for the Titans. Guy's 6'5", 6'6", 350 pounds. I have never seen a man that big before. And I'm just like, okay, you go up to him and say, sir, how you doing?
Yes, sir. Where does he sit in the restaurant? Wherever he wants.
Wherever he wants. Graham, I appreciate your time, my friend, and I appreciate you you letting us borrow some of your knowledge today.
Oh, thank you. It's been a joy to see you on a podcast. But we'll not tell anyone what our secret is here soon. But it's been a pleasure to be here, and thank you for not rubbing too much salt into the wound of last week's game.
See, when
we lost again at the weekend.
What's that?
I'm saying the Bills. We lost again at the weekend.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: when you're climbing up the stairs or the ladder, and you fall down the ladder, the people below you are going to climb up over you. So I don't want to make it bad. So if we meet again in the playoffs and lose, you won't make it so bad on me.
Titans, are they an AFC team?
They are an AFC team.
Oh, man.
So we're
going to have to figure out these hats again in like 3 months or something, 2 months.
Well, see, I'm hoping. I've got you can't see it up here, but at the top I have a listing of the Titans from the time that they were the Tennessee Oilers until the last years. So I'm wanting to add another AFC championship hat and a Super Bowl hat, but I'm afraid I have to go through Buffalo to get that.
Well, that's okay.
It might happen.
One of the great tragedies of American football is that there was never a Cowboys-Redskins Super Bowl.
That's true.
That would have been almost like Hollywood-esque in its nature.
It would have.
I dare say they had a few championships, though.
Well, they I don't remember how many they
got. They're in the same division, aren't they?
They are.
So they wouldn't even be able to compete for would they?
No.
I don't know.
I do like watching them play on Thanksgiving. To me, that is perfect.
Yeah. The Cowboys versus the football team.
The football team. Oh.
That is going to be the dumbest franchise name ever.
Well, maybe they'll change it next year and they'll market it. Maybe they'll get something that would be a lot better than just the football team. Yeah. Football. It's not very creative, is it? But then it is Washington, so. Well, I will talk to you later, my friend.
All right, sir. Been an absolute joy. Thank you.
All right. And thank you all for joining us at the Football's Family Podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
At the Sports History Network, we're all about sports yesteryear, and so we're so pleased to introduce you to Row One, an online memorabilia gallery and shop that brings your sports history to life anywhere. The Row One gallery includes over 5,200 gorgeously reproduced prints of team posters, game program covers, game tickets, advertisements, and more in baseball, pro and college football, pro and college basketball, and more. And any gallery item may be printed in a variety of sizes on wood, metal, canvas, acrylic, or poster paper. And in Row One shop, check out the thousands more of unique items with the retro and historical designs dating back to 1876, including t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, phone cases, mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com, ROW1, for access to the full Row One catalog and for gallery prints and gift items, plus get a 15% discount off all prints on the Row One Pictorum Gallery with coupon code SHN15. Follow the link on the show notes.